Mariners continue to just be extremely frustrating as it's been since day one of this season. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners dropped this one tonight 7-3 to the Padres. They fall to 73 and 72 on the season. 4 back in the wild card. They remain 4.5 back in the AL West, with Houston losing. As the season winds down, do me a favor, smash that like button, comment your thoughts down below, and please do not forget to hit that subscribe button as I'm on the road to 4,200 subs. That's kind of my goal to get at before the season ends. I think one of the most annoying things about the Seattle Mariners right now is that they're not good. They're just good enough to keep us invested into the wins and losses of this team. They're still just there enough for us to go, ooh, if they win tonight, if they can sweep this series, maybe there's hope. They're just bad enough where every loss is so devastating to the season, right? I mean, truthfully, how many more games can this team lose this year? And I'm not saying that like a sarcastic, like 4 or 5. I think that's where you're at. I think that's about all you can afford to lose unless Houston just collapses. And in the wild card, you probably have less wiggle room, even though you're closer, but you've got more teams in between you trying to catch Minnesota. So there's no margin for error anymore. I mean, this team could probably afford to lose maybe 4 more games, and even that could be pushing it. And I've said it before, it's not a team that's got like a lot of prospects coming up. So it's not like, oh, I'm excited for this debut. I'm excited for that debut. Not saying there aren't good guys on this roster. There's some tremendous players on this roster. But there's nothing new, right? It's kind of the same thing every day a little bit, and it can get tiring and frustrating. And this team needs kind of a winning streak here. I've talked about it several times. They're going to have to rattle off a bunch of wins in a row, or they've got to find a way to string together, 4 to 5, then 7 out of 8, something like that. And every time they kind of take a step forward, they just take a step back. Tonight's game, a perfect example. Win that series in St. Louis. Again, probably about as good as you felt about this team in a few weeks. They get up 2-0 tonight, and you're thinking, okay, this is better, right? This team's at least continuing to play good baseball. They'll get a W tonight. They'll be 3.5 back in division. Let's go. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's kind of funny that if you had asked any Mariners fan, including myself, what would be your concern in September? And I might have talked about Brian Wu and Bryce Miller wearing down. Can they go the full length of the season? Well, ironically, those that's probably not irony, but funny enough, those guys have been fine. It's like George Kirby, not good enough again tonight. I mean, this is like, I feel like every other start and then a few back-to-backs have just not been good for Kirby. He was fine in Oakland last time, but before that, he's been bad against Detroit 2 times. He was bad against the Angels. I feel like there's another start I'm missing in there where he was pretty poor. It's not good enough, and you need a guy like that to step up and be better. You need to rely on your best, and I know this is a good Padres line. I'm not taking away from it at all, but where the Mariners are at in the standings, they cannot afford to have what should be one of their better pitchers have a dud, and he's had several, truthfully. Again, if this was the only one, I can forgive it, but it's been about a month now of George Kirby being, I think at best you could say, inconsistent. And speaking of, the best players need to step up. I praised Julio this last road trip. Much better at bats. And then today, huge part of the loss. The bases loaded in the 7th inning, the double play. And then in the 3rd inning, I thought was a really frustrating inning for the offense because Tatis hits the home run in the top half. You go to the bottom half, Josh Rojas and Victor Robles back-to-back singles, Robles on the bunt. And you're kind of thinking, okay, here we go, right? Rojas reaches, Robles reaches, middle of the order coming up, get those runs back. It's been a frustration with this offense, right? They don't answer back. And here we go. They've been playing better, and they're going to answer back here. Julio strikes out. Cal pops up on a fastball right down the middle, and a Rosarina has an atrocious at-bat. And then there's the 7th inning. Again, bottom of the order kind of rallies a little bit, gets a run, then gets you bases loaded, 1 out. And Julio, I don't even know how you hit that changeup on the ground. I don't know how that's possible. A changeup that was center cut, even perfectly, just maybe a titch up in the zone, and he grounds into a double play. Can't happen, right? I mean, the margin for error is 0 for this Seattle Mariners team. And maybe I'm being unfair that these guys have got to be better, but they've put themselves in this spot. Sorry, that's what it is, right? Keep your 10-game lead, even if it got down to 4 or 5 right now, and there is some margin for error. Kind of what I talked about at the beginning, right? They're good enough to keep you invested, but they're also bad enough that their margin for error is Zippo right now. You keep a 4 or 5 game lead, you got a little margin for error, right? You can afford to drop a game like this. And I feel like broken record here. Is this the most devastating loss I've seen this year? Not even close. Probably wouldn't even be top 20, but you can't afford to lose them. Your schedule's tough now. Padres, Yankees, Texas with DeGrom and Scherzer coming back, because of course they're going to come back to face the Mariners. Houston again, even a feisty Oakland team to finish up the season. The other one with the Padres tomorrow. You're going to have to beat them. It is what it is. You put yourself in the spot. And truthfully, even beating these teams and winning may not be enough. Talked about that too, right? Maybe you have 3 or 4 losses left in your repertoire to have, and then it's about done. We're going to get to a point where it's like you almost got to win out. And that's, like I said, the team has nobody to blame but themselves for that. Hey, it's the first Dan Wilson loss that hasn't been by 1 run or 2 runs. First time he's kind of been blown out as a manager, funny enough. Let's get into the box score here. Listen, you guys know, I think I've done a post-game recap for every game this year. I think there was one Yankee game that I missed when they were in Yankee Stadium. I was at work and there was an early game and I just didn't, it was already so late. I didn't have time. There was another one against the Nationals. I think the 2 games against the Nationals, because it was my son's birthday party, that I didn't do, but I kind of talked about them in my game 3 recap. So I think maybe 2 or 3 games I haven't done. I am in a major writer's block. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like I'm truly just repeating myself every night. So if that you're someone that thinks that, like, oh, Jay's saying the same things, I don't have much else to say doing daily recaps on this team. It's the same thing. They've got to rattle off 5, 6 in a row or something. And it still holds true, right? For they're on the division. Get to that Houston series 2 or 3 games back. Again, I'm not saying you're going to win the division if you do that. Even if you're 3 games back, at least you go into that series knowing if we sweep this, we're in first place, control our destiny. That's kind of where you're at, and I know a lot of Houston fans watch my channel. Some are very kind, some are more, not, that's fine. But like, it's not a prediction. I'm just saying, like, that's where they're at. That's kind of your saving grace right now. And, will that happen? I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. But that's kind of all you've really got to cling to if you're a Mariners fan right now. So let's get into the box score, then I'll get out of here. Kirby not good enough. 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 run, 5 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. ERA is now up to 3.77, which is fine. The ERA is not bad or anything, but Kirby was a guy that was so dialed into that middle of the season. And really, you talk about why this team has struggled to bounce back last couple months. Even the offense swung the bats better. George Kirby would be one of the reasons. Certainly not all on him. He's had a good season overall, but they've needed better performances the last month or so and have not gotten it at all. Chargois did his job. I think it's Chargois, right? I always feel like I say that name wrong. Did his job for an inning. Did walk better, didn't strike anybody out, but no runs. Tough outing for Austin Voth. Couple walks, couple runs, did have a couple strikeouts. Voth's been pretty good as of late, and at that point, I kind of felt like the game was over a little bit. Saucedo gets an out. Nice outing from Bizzardo. 2 innings, 2 hits, and does strike out 3. So good to see there from Bizzardo. Offensively, the Mariners do get 10 hits, 4 walks, 14 base runners. But again, like 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Another game where just situational hitting not coming through. Talked about Julio. Even a sac fly for Julio in that spot. I've been talking about the sac flies the last few days. He gets a sac fly there. You get a run, 7-4. So you chip away at the lead. Then you've got Cal Raleigh up as the tying run. Give yourself a chance, right? Would Cal have hit one out? It went out earlier. You never know. Congrats to Cal. Hits his 30th home run of the year. That's RBI number 91 for Cal. So I'd love to see him get to 100 RBIs. It would be really, really cool to see. So we'll see if he can get there. Depends on how many guys can get on base. But with that many hits and walks, you've got to put up more runs than that. And it's some of the situational hitting. It's hitting with runners in scoring position. Like I said, I think they were 2 for 9 or 1 for 9 or something like that today. You got to be better. Got to be better. Victor Robles, nice game, 3 for 4 with a walk. One of the hits was a double. Robles on base 4 times. OPS back up to 786. Glad he's back in the leadoff spot. Brutal day for Julio, 0 for 5. Cal 1 for 4 with the solo home run, number 30. Tough game for Rosarina, 0 for 4. And this is the thing, too. Robles, great. Cal, fine. Julio, Rosarina, that top door, they need to be better. Those are the guys you should be able to rely on. Luke Raley, 1 for 3 with a home run and a walk. OPS up to 773, number 19 for Raley. Justin Turner had a decent game, 1 for 2 with 2 walks on base 3 times. Guys, Justin Turner's been good. Like, honestly, I don't have his Mariners numbers in front of me. I can pull that up. Let me see if I can go to Baseball Reference. I'm kind of curious now. Let's pull that up live here, what his numbers are with the Mariners, because Justin Turner's been good, I feel like, with the Mariners. Kind of quietly because, the team just hasn't really pulled it together. But let's see if I can pull up what his stats are with the Mariners. Justin Turner with the Mariners. Let's see. 2024 with Seattle. 700 OPS, 109 OPS plus. So, and that's probably coming into tonight too, right? That probably doesn't include tonight. So I guess not quite as good as I thought, but 344 on base percentage. I mean, he's been fine, I think. I thought the OPS would have been a little bit higher than that. I guess there were some games in the middle there where he probably was pretty rough, but I mean, I think overall, I don't know what the WRC plus would be on that, but 109 OPS plus, like he's kind of been what you needed right now. Funny enough, Ty's gone to Cincinnati and raked. Cincinnati's a pretty big hitter's park. I'm not going to put a ton of stock into that, but I think Turner's kind of been what you hoped you were going to get from Justin Turner for the most part is all I'm trying to say. Nice game today on base 3 times. Polanco 2 for 4, but again, had an at-bat with runners on in the 8th inning there. He gets into one 7-6, but, makes the out. So 2 hits, but the situational hitting not there. JP does have a base hit and an RBI. Rojas 1 for 2. And then Dylan Moore pinched hit and was 0 for 2. He had a rough at-bat there in a spot where they really needed him in that 7th inning as well before Robles walked. And then Julio, had the awful double play. So, yeah, just, when they're getting hits, not situational hits in this game, that was a key factor, obviously. Julio's got to be better in spot. George Kirby has got to be better. You need the guys that you should be able to rely on having better games. Listen, I try not to keep going back and forth on this team. You win, listen, you win tomorrow, Houston loses. Hey, there's the path still, and the path is still there. But each loss is very, very crucial. Each loss is another bullet in you that hurts. So, they're going to have to either hope for a collapse or they have got to play more consistent baseball and rattle off a few wins in a row. So hopefully that starts tomorrow. Running out of games, that's for sure. Well, I mean, it is what it is. So I'm exhausted. Like I said, running out of things to say with the team. So I will just go ahead and get out of here. Remember to hit that like button, comment your thoughts, hit subscribe. Hopefully Mariners bounce back tomorrow. We'll see. Coming down the home stretch here. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.